Seen him resist the pressure put on him by some other teams, in particular Liga yesterday on this PA.
Yes.
And when he's backed up by Respect on that CM, it's might be just one of those situations where you're giving up your life for the cause, right? You're like, okay, look at me instead, look at me, and PA is just farming away in the jungle. Might be the reality that this CM has to face. I already mentioned I didn't really like this tight, tiny matchup because even though there's kill potential and, physical damage burst and whatnot, it feels like, it doesn't really do much until later on. And I mean, the tiny wants to get moving, right? He doesn't really want to stay here forever, so.
Yeah, it's one of those level 3 matchups, I think, for me, where Tide gets a level maybe into Gush and Tiny Tree Toss all of a sudden starts really, really hurting. But that's a ways away still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what the Tide Hunter build is as well, because Greaves, something that the Chen can get, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? They both share the same buying potential for each of these auras. Maybe the Chen not so much on the Shivas, but of course, might be something that the Tide goes for. And we've seen some Tides go for Vlad instead as a starting, so we'll see just how aggressive he wants to go. I think you mentioned Dead in the Water as well, but it's 1.4k that you're not spending on any of these other expensive aura items, so need to sort of prioritize there.
If Tide goes first item Dead in the Water, I'm done. Like it's good. It's not that good. Right?
He's not doing it.
This is go Vlad's Blink Dead in the Water, but there's no way you get first Dead. That's game losing.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for these level 3s and level 4s in these side lanes, because I feel like that's when the lanes will really blow wide open. Specifically for this one win off lane, it's only a matter of time before Sweden Strong maybe catches FNG in a bad spot, flame breaks him back, and he's not really at the stage where he has a creep that can bail him out of that situation. It's gonna be on Kiritich to essentially act like a bodyguard, which is kind of funny because most of the time it's the Pulse 5 who's supposed to be doing that. Under some pressure now, forced to pop an early rage. So yeah, he always has that get out of jail free card, but you best believe one win will be watching that cooldown very keenly.
Mid lane's going okay. This is kind of what we expected out of this, right? The Lesh is ahead, but the Pango's keeping up, still getting levels, and will be able to rotate come level 6. It's going to come down to runes, though, for me, right? These supports need to come secure these runes for Pangolier. Because if Lesh starts getting them, Pango feels stagnant in lane. It's all of a sudden kind of awkward to make ganks. It's going to be support city for sure.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried in VP's case because I'm not very sure how that stacks up. Like, you bring a Tiny and Chen in versus CM Bat. I mean, alongside the Pango, one of them very clearly has the control advantage. And that could really turn the tides because Squadix is already doing very well for himself in this mid lane. The Pango is a bit behind, but one kill can turn that whole thing around.
We're already seeing Bat, Sweden Strong going for stacks and then securing the water rune as well. Do it again in 2 minutes. That's what you want to see.
Yeah. It's become a very fundamental support skill. You need to sort of get your hands on the timings and make sure that you're right where your mid laner needs you. Some of these rotations going to leave Noticed a bit high and dry though. He's actually taking a lot more damage than I expected and not doing as hot as I thought. Kiritich has to watch himself up against Cloud. One of those bashes comes in, going to clock you out of this lane.
That's one thing you're going to need to be careful of the Lifestealer, right, is constant lassos. There is no point in which you can rage TP safely unless Bat and Slardar are showing on the map.
Yeah. I mean, even then, later down the line with a Pango Basher, this rage TP thing
true too,
ain't gonna happen.
No.
It's not a factor in this game. Cloud will finally work down that pesky little ghost that was auto-attacking him relentlessly. And that's
the ghost
gonna
is
alleviate.
so strong.
It's so annoying, dude.
People are sleeping on these easy camps for sure. I think that is when Chen is at, obviously not his strongest, but like level 1 to 3 is super good for Chen.
Yeah, you're speaking like true offlaner, by the way. Like you're the one taking the brunt of the damage. You think like, oh, these guys, it's just a Chen, he can't do anything to you. Like, no, he's terrifying. Early TP in from Sweden Strong, looking for aggression onto Noticed. Nice avalanche and the toss into the mix here, but that's exactly where the CM wants to be. A lot of physical damage being returned the Bat Rider's way, though. Noticed he could just get another anchor smash off, and it's going to be first blood drawn by VP. So the rotation not really going the way that one win wants, unless they can pick up a second. A bit too tanky for them to cut through, though, that Tiny, so he'll be able to walk it off with 16 wand charges in his pocket as well. So realistically, he was fine there.
And a salve to boot. Seiyu's A-okay. Now, honestly, Sneeze, I am very happy if you're VP with that trade. Tiny, out of all the heroes getting first blood, in my opinion, kind of huge. Gets him boots, gets him his windlace, gets him on a fast track to this Blink Dagger. Kind of spooky.
Yeah. I mean, Tiny, Seiyu, he's, I think I most notably remember him for his insane partner plays on the international level, right?
Yes.
Like coming through with some of these clutch saves, the decreps. I mean, Stone Cold Killer he is, and that's exactly what he's going to try and do this game with the toss-back setups. If he's just able to fish them in, because the Tidehunter never really wants to ravage first without vision. It's the Tiny who can sort of commit in, and even if he dies, it's a spot kill, so a lot of weight on his shoulders to set up a good fight for his team.
You've got a lot of kind of run in there heroes, right? Lifestealer and Lesh are somewhat similar as well. Just kind of run in, get vision for your Tidehunter, and it's going to be, I'll say, a counter initiation, but it's going to be vision first for the Tide for sure.
Yeah.
You're right on the money with that. Fair and true.
Yeah, I also think that this is one of those games where you don't really have a traditional Infest Bomb. You might actually want to save it for the burst heal potential. Cloud being worked down in this bot side, forcing the TP out from Chira now. Ready to help his allies out. Rolling Thunder available. Kiritich now in some trouble, no more rage, and unfortunately the Chen can only do so much. He's gonna get worked down, trying for the deny. Good try though, but he realized he didn't have enough distance covered. Will get worked down, and good first rotation, but as we already mentioned, in this mid lane, it's immediately the Lash barking at your mid tower, working that down with the Edict. Already has it down to, what a 6 HP? Chira's gonna come in and save it just in time, but that's a danger. I mean, he's just gonna get it. 100 to 0 Squad X. Easy stuff for this Lash.
Yeah, it is very hard to leave Lash alone in lane, but as a Pangolier, what do you do? Like, you can't just sit there.
Trying to contest now for the 8-minute rune. Invis available. Squad X did a little double back for it. He will try and turn around and use that Pulse Nova. It's more than enough damage. Now, unfortunately, with Cloud coming through, this might be the end for the Lash, but the Pulse Nova's actually returning quite a bit of HP taken down from Cloud. They still will get the Lash what they came for, though. 4 members of 1 win in this mid lane, and it's a painful exchange, but it's a good one.
If Batrider's the hero that keeps on dying on one win, you'll take that. Every single time. Bat is fine, right? Obviously, he's not getting items, which is a little sad. Respect. Oh, you're not going to get items that way either, my friend.
Yeah, walking up to the high ground. And thankfully, FNG is a Chen. So he neither has a slow or a stun. He just has hopes and dreams. And Squad X, please come help me. He will go down, unfortunately. Biting off a bit more than he can chew. Maybe trying to body block Respect and punish him for the over-aggression. Toss in the Lash now. Nice swashbuckle away. The Avalanche doesn't tag the Pango. So Respect will end up going down at the end of things. But it's an elongated fight and 1-for-1. So not too bad. Now Kiritich in this bot side needs to invest into the creep. Gets bashed before he can make it there. The tips come through. Cloud. The voice line as well. This is what you pick the Slaughter for that melee domination.
Dude, Cloud has an Orb of Corrosion as well on the Slardar. That is a Chad item against the Lifestealer. I love.
Yeah, reducing the spell lifesteal and lifesteal by 20%. That's going to cut down his effectiveness and staying power. That's exactly what we see there. Maybe, you know, Kiritich not so used to having those values dashed and miscalculated. But all these little bits of action, they're just allowing Squad X to mow down the towers, right? Now he's up here on this top side. He brings Notice and the gang in as well. There should be tier 1s across the board falling. I wouldn't be surprised if they even try for the bot tier 1 soon.
I don't know. Like, I'm not a Lash player, mind you. So I'm going to relate it to Pugna because I think they are similar heroes in the tower taking perspective. Or I think that you kind of run down a tier 1, whether it be top or mid. You run down the next one. You run down a third. But then you're kind of at a point where, like, hey, it's 12 minutes. I can't really push a tier 2. So it's going to be up to this warding from VP, which they already have great wards deep in the enemy jungle to scout out any sort of farming from PA or anyone else.
To be fair, I also don't know that even if you're scouting out one win, whether you have the lineup that can run into their jungle and contest it, right? You're very much a static, ball-together lineup. My prediction is that one win are going to be the ones pressured to strike, as they are grouping up now, 3 members in the bot side. And it's going to be on VP to try and come through with a response, like a TP in Ravage, Hand of God, turn the fight around. Might be starting sooner than we expect here, as Kiritich taunting and daring Cloud to come forward. This Slaughter is tanking a lot of tower hits. And, I mean... things will get kicked off now, immediately popping the rage, and there's the TP from the Tide. Like we mentioned, that means one win. They need to get the hell on out of here. Respect might not be quite as lucky, though. Like you mentioned, if it's just the support who dies, it's not too big of a deal, but Chira Jr. already, with that diffuser completed, it seems like, was able to cut away the mana of the Tide and make that initiation a bit awkward.
And another rune for Chira, right? So that is the only reason Pango feels comfortable to be there. Is beautiful, beautiful AD rune.
Yeah, love that. But Squadix, you know, he, apart from the towers, he's been taking more of a farm-centering approach, which is understandable. You know, as Lash, you want to get your way towards Bloodstone as soon as humanly possible. And maybe that's kind of that little gap that you mentioned, right? Because even though you take down the main towers, you don't really have much to do. Lash can farm too, you know, he doesn't mind scaling up on his own. Trying to fight for the 12-minute. Yeah, Chira just gets avalanched up. Nice play from Seyuj. And should just be able to walk this one off. You know what? I fully predict a little bit of a farm fest going into the next 10 minutes. Unless one win are able to find some sort of opening, they can just keep these lanes as static as they have been.
Do you think that favors one win, though?
I think it doesn't, because the VP lineup doesn't even... Like I mentioned, the VP lineup isn't going to run into your jungle and kill the PA. Right? Like, that's not in their itinerary. Their itinerary is get their own timings, get their own auras, go for this death ball. So as long as they can resist the pressure and start dodging out these smoke ganks or jumps, they should be in a pretty good position. The Tide is going for that Vlad, like you mentioned, and take a look at the awareness coming out from BP. They full-on evacuate this bot side right as a one-win smoke comes through. Very, very heads-up play from them.
I actually think they caught Batrider meeting up with the CM Pango on that ward there the VP has in their jungle. It just caught Batrider walking down the stairs into a smoke.
So they knew.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. That's painfully obvious. Noticed. In this top side, though, we'll start to get run down. No mana for a turnaround Ravage, but as soon as they catch a glimpse of the Lash, they're like, hey, we're just kidding. We're just kidding.
It's our best friend, Tide Hunter. We
I
love him so much
just give him a slap on the back of the head. You know, it's no big deal. Now, Mukushi, talk about not running into this jungle, but if they can find a freebie, they'll get it any single day of the week. Huge one. And that's gonna leave Akushi to even believe there's a ward there, when in reality, VP just got a little bit lucky.
There was a ward there, but it just expired.
Okay, I'm blind. VP didn't get lucky. It was all code calculated FNG masterclass. How dare I disrespect him?
These wards from VP are insane. Every single ward has been scouting something.
And you take a sort of a look at the ward being placed in the bot side, just guarding Kiritich. It's in a very awkward position that you don't usually expect, but it just covers enough pathways to see maybe some of these one-win heroes starting to wrap around. Yeah, like you mentioned, VP definitely on top of the warding game. This is FNG that we're talking about after all.
Yeah, of course, dude.
You know what the F in FNG stands for?
Wards.
For vision. that's what
it is. Worse than mine.
He revealed this in a Rolling Stone interview, I think, last week.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that.
Yeah,
it wasn't on Reddit. I didn't see it. Oops.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a man of culture like you. I don't read.
Yeah. Okay. All good. Smoke out here as VP Squadix and Seyush ready to get the action going and maybe looking to connect to this Tide Hunter, where they predict the next bout of action is going to be one win. They're grouping up for a bit of a defense too. They don't want to lose this tier 1. But how do they initiate here? I feel like it's going to be a little bit awkward. The Slaughter's gone for an Orchid first item instead of something like a Blink and Echo. And now they're all going to be revealed under the wall, but it doesn't really seem like they can aggress. Nice blink and lasso trying to hold Sage in place. The Rolling Thunder committer as well. Notice, he's in the middle of them all though, and nobody on VP is taking any damage. Shira Jr., it's a nice freezing field on the high ground, starting to work into Kiritich, but straight into the Ravage, onto 2, perfectly connected. Now they need to retreat to their tier 2 tower. One win, the carry can't join this fight, and that might be their downfall. One last swashbuckle away, and Kiritich will give up on this chase, but coming through with the aura, this is the timing that we talked about, and VP strike hard.
Dude, aren't you so glad Slardar has an Orchid right there? Aren't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you pleased about that choice of purchase?
Yeah, all the One Win fans are like, yeah, get him with the Orchid. You really told the Tiny to shut up for 2 seconds before you lost that team fight. I mean, I don't know how much of a difference it would have made there. I feel like VP, they're just too strong at this point.
Fair. Nice swash from Chira. That was certain death. Maybe the thought process is I don't need a blink because my Batrider has a blink, and that he is going to be the blink initiator, pulling them back into me.
Fair.
That's the only thing I can think of, but I think the more blinks, the merrier on One Win.
I mean, look, I get the silence, right? The silence, obviously, you want to catch Kiritich off guard. Lifestealer doesn't want to build something like a Manta, doesn't really have his own Dispel, usually relies heavily on the Rage, so I get it, but One Win, they just haven't gotten any opportunity to really pressure Kiritich outside of this early game. Now, Sweden-Strong, he'll show himself, but that's going to prove to be a bit of a mistake, but still able to slide his way out of trouble. Seyuch goes wide with the Avalanche. This, he's taking them on a wild bat chase here. That is probably going to lead into his death. Probably going to lead into... There we go. Okay, there we go.
And they get Chira mid as well. I think Squadix got that one solo.
Yikes. Yikes. 4K gold lead. The death ball, it's starting to come through. VP. This is what they drafted for the whole time. And you talk about the physical damage, you know. Oh, maybe we get a Revenant's Brute. You're not going to get there.
No, 4K no, we got to get there first.
Yeah.
It's a long while, right? That is some sort of like 30-minute, 35-minute sort of, it's my 4th, 5th item on the PA. I've got Aegis. Things are looking well for us.
It's looking to be her third item.
Bad news. Yeah, it's not looking good for One Win right now.
Yeah. One Win, you know, I like what they have on the table when it comes to the draft, right? But I think the key problem is that we didn't see anything that really addresses this VP lineup. Sure, later down the line, you have the Fan of Knives to cut through the Tidehunter, whatever. But the Slardar, he didn't really get enough action going for this early game, I feel, to put a stop to this rolling ball now. And Cloud, he's just kind of drifting around right now. He doesn't really have any options. Gotta get caught out now. Notice, infested up, moving quick, ready to dominate his brethren straight onto the Ravage. They don't even care. They'll commit it for a free kill. Blinky and Sayers, great discipline from that Tiny to wait out the crush and come in and finish the deal. Down to your tier 2s now. One win. What's the response, man?
Farm a little bit more on the PA. That is your response, and I think that is your only response. Squadix, you might just go high ground here a little bit at least. Force them back, do something.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned somewhere in the mid game, Lesh is gonna run into the problem whereby the Mage Slayer dies. Perfect check. Yeah, what mid game? What mid game? I mean, this mid game looks a bit too dominant the way they're rolling over One Win. And I don't think this is what we expected, at least, right? We kind of expected One Win to come out guns blazing, ready to at least answer back to what VP have, but it's been a perfectly concocted recipe so far from G and the gang. They are gonna get a 20-minute Rex.
Yeah, this is the perfect Chen lineup, right? This is the thing you vision when you pick Chen. It's pushing high ground sub 20 minutes. And you have the heroes to do it on VP. What a beautifully concocted draft that is working out to perfection.
Yeah, and it's always this tricky situation because One Win, even if you get the jump in, like, let's say you try and initiate on the Chen. There's a Ravage and an Avalanche waiting for you. They just get 2 racks, and it's not even 20 minutes into the game yet.
Everyone on One Win's like, oh, this is a good opportunity to farm. What else do you do?
I mean, get caught out, it seems. Sweden-Strong is trying to chart a path for his team to get on out of here, but I might just be looking at a game 2, if I'm being honest. I hate to sort of call these things a little early, but I don't see the crazy team fight turnaround. It has to be Mukushi on his maybe third item, and he's just finished the BKB. I still don't think this is good enough timing for one win.
They can hope and pray, but that's all they can do right now.
Dead in the water. There isn't a Ravage, and they know that to be the case. Cloud, the blink, just slightly off the mark, and he might just pay the price for that. Seiyu Trooper, perfect setup, Avalanche. You silenced him a bit too late, my friend. You had the BKB TP out. That is not a good look. As respect, he'll be able to get out of dodge, but they lose Cloud off of a just missed initiation. That could have been an opportunity to kill off Notice, but they fumbled the bag real bad.
I don't think you kill Notice there, even if you get that crush off. Right, Hand of God is online. It might have just been too much, and Ravage coming up in like 10 seconds. It would have been very close. Maybe things go differently, but that was best case for 1-1, right? They got to pick off on Tide there. That's
I'm gonna
because you're not picking off Lash Your Life Stealer right now.
Look, if it's 20 minutes into the game and your Chen hasn't used Hand of God once, I think you're either getting clapped so hard that you're level 5, or you're looking at the VP masterclass right now. They haven't even been threatened to the point where that ultimate has to be used just yet. And he has a mech and a solar crest.
Yeah. I like this Chen build quite a bit because PA, Slardar, Pango, we talked about it, dude. Physical damage. This solar crest, despite not being the meta item right now, looks really good this game.
Absolutely. You need all the armor you can get, especially when you're playing heroes like the Lash and Lifestealer who, while very strong and tanky in their own right, their HP comes from self-healing as well as just bulk, flat HP pool. They don't really have the best armor. They at best build 1 or 2 armor items. Good try for the wraparound straight into a Ravage, and Mukushi's just dead. Yeah, 50 seconds out of PA. That was a hope there. Trying for the Rolling Thunder up onto this high ground. It's a pretty good one. Shira Jr. able to carve away for his team. Respect though. He's trying for the freezing field, but it's not nearly enough damage. In comes the heal. Good game is called. Mukushi's out of there, but he was out of here, what, 2 minutes ago? I don't think they stood a chance.
1 win minutes ago? I don't know.
And maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but 15-5, like you mentioned, Crash, this is a perfect execution of a Chen lineup. If anyone is looking to see how you outdraft someone and how you sort of put together all the pieces of a working Chen lineup, how to execute it to perfection, this game is a great case study. Save the replay, go back, just watch an FNG masterclass in action, because that's exactly what happened in front of our eyes.